Hello and welcome to English 1302 5-week course. My name is Professor Catherine Smith and I will be your instructor for the next 5 weeks. This is a very shortened course, so let's go ahead and get started. So, my name is Catherine Smith and I have an associate's degree in English that I earned at San Jacinto College. I also hold a dual bachelor's of arts in literature and history that I earned at University of Houston Clear Lake, and a master's of literature that I also learned at the University of Clear Lake. And it's really nice to come full circle and come back and teach at San Jacinto. I've been teaching at San Jacinto College for 10 years now, and I adjunct there at San Jacinto and also at Lee College. And I am also a dual credit professor at Sterling High School in Baytown. And here is a pretty okay picture of me and how to get a hold of me, basically through email. I will say throughout the course that the best way to get a hold of me, should you need to reach me, is through email. I don't have a phone number with the college. If you call the number in the syllabus, it's the main English number, and they will simply send me an email letting me know that I have a message. Uh, I respond to emails as soon as possible. And in fact, most of my emails will come to my phone if you've sent it with the proper identification, which we'll go over here in a minute. But email is the best way to get a hold of me. Calling is not. They're just going to send me an email. And if you send me a message on Blackboard, it's likely I won't see it for several days because of how that works. So please email me. All right, so welcome to English 1302. Again, this is a 16-week course that has been uh, compressed into 5 weeks, so it's very fast-paced. We have a lot to cover. So let's take a look at the start here. Obviously, you're watching the video. The next thing, once you've watched and listened to this video, you're going to be going to the getting started info. I will warn you that all of the course has been set up that you have to do certain things before you can get to the next thing. So be sure to read everything carefully and just do the assignments in the order that they've been given to you, assuming there is one. Read the descriptions. So let me show you that. Read the descriptions here. It will tell you what you need to do in order to get to the next item. And generally speaking, you won't even be able to see the next item until you've done the ones prior to it. So first things first, let's go to the getting started information. I'm not going to read this word for word because I expect you to be able to read through it, and that's kind of boring. But it talks about the purpose of the course. This is a 1302 class. We'll be focusing on research. Since 1301, in English 1301, you should have been focusing on proper writing and formatting and other various things. We'll be working on how to find research and synthesize that into a paper. Now, usually we do 3 papers, but since this is a truncated class, we'll be doing 2 major papers with a couple of minor essays called analytical responses throughout. The whole course is set up in that way. And it talks about that here. Under the grading formula, we have 2 major research reports, an analysis and a synthesis essay. They're going to be worth 40% of your overall grade. There's 2 analytical responses that were worth 10% each. So you will be responsible. 60% of your grade is going to be writing. So be prepared to write. The final 40% is coming from daily assignments at 25%. There is a group teamwork assignment. It's 10%. I promise that it is as painless as I could make it. And then, of course, there is course engagement at 5%. And you can read through here about what course engagement means. There's no extra credit in this course. We don't have time for that. If you do all of your assignments, you should not have any need for extra credit. The only time I offer extra credit is if you have done all of your assignments and you've turned in everything you're supposed to and you're still falling behind. That is the only time that I offer extra credit. So it's not really being offered in this class. The email policy, make sure that you read any emails I send to you. It's your official Sanjak account. Also, announcements will also be mirrored to your email because I really want to make sure that you get this information, because how I communicate with you is through email, announcements, and lectures, since this is, again, an online course. So be sure to take a look at this. You need to make sure that you are able to get into your Sanjak College account for your email. Very important. There's actually an assignment, one of the first ones that we do, that requires that. Furthermore, I don't accept assignments via email unless I've specifically asked you to send it to me. If you proactively send me an assignment because you had a problem with Blackboard, I will not accept that assignment. So please don't do that. Just send me an email and let me know you're having a problem with Blackboard, and then I can go and check it and see if the problem is on my side, if the problem's on Blackboard's side. And then I will ask you to either resubmit it or attempt to resubmit it, or to send me an email. If you just send me an assignment, it will most likely get lost because I won't be looking for it, and I will not use that for your assignments. We need to have most of our assignments, if not all of our assignments, sent through Blackboard for tracking purposes. And it is a very rare case where I allow students to send me email assignments. So please don't do it, not even proactively. Make sure you ask first. Try to have things graded as soon as possible. I realize it's a short class, so I will try to get those graded so you get that feedback as soon as I can. I expect you to fully participate in the class discussions. We don't have nearly as many because it is a short class, but the ones that we do have are meaningful and important and will help move the conversation about what we are reading along. So it's important that you participate. In fact, 5% of the class is contingent upon your participation, which can be tracked. So make sure that you are doing your utmost to keep up with everything. The use of AI in this class. All right, so this is an English class, y'all. I love AI. I think it's great. I think it's really useful in the current society in which we live. I think that there are abuses of it. I think it's entertaining. However, I do not believe it belongs in an English composition class. There are very few exceptions. Have very stringent AI policy. Please don't use any AI to check your papers. Trust me, you would rather have a few points taken off for grammar or misspellings or whatever it is than have a complete zero for having your paper being flagged at uh, any AI usage at all. So please do not use AI in this course. Time is short. I assure you, I've been doing this long enough that I am able to recognize it from the get-go. I do check it. If I have any inkling or thought that it's potentially AI, I will check it. There are built-in AI checkers within Blackboard. And the other reasons we have to have everything turned in through Blackboard. So please don't use it. I teach courses to other teachers about how to find it and what to do about it. So honestly, please just be authentic, because I cannot grade your work if it's not your work. And I have, if you're worried that your work is going to be flagged for AI and you don't use AI, then we can have that conversation, because there are things that you can do, such as using Google Docs where everything can be tracked, and also turning files in as a docx file, where your entire process can be looked at. So, but if you're not worried about it, just don't use AI. Just I would rather have an imperfect paper and give you a better grade on an imperfect paper than give you a 0 for a paper that you used AI to fix any issues that you had uh, on what otherwise would have been a perfectly good paper. So be sure to read through that. There is a quiz on that. Talk about that. Make sure that you are using proper formatting, MLA and APA. I will try to go through over that in the course, in the lectures. However, I have an extensive amount of information about the differences between APA and MLA. And honestly, MLA formatting is something you should have learned about in 1301. If you didn't, I suggest you contact your 1301 instructor and give them what for, because you should have learned that already. So, but if not, I do have it in here, but we will not be spending a lot of time on it. But formatting is very important. If you do not format your papers right, you will most likely receive a penalty of 20 points right off the top. So make sure your formatting is correct. If you have any questions about formatting, please email me. You can also go to the Writing Center at the library, the Student Success Center there, and they can help you with that as well. My biggest and most serious advice to you is to carefully read all the assignments, instructions, and the announcements, and follow the instructions. Uh, I know that a lot of people have ideas about how they want to do, especially online courses, that they want to try and do certain things first, but I have this course set up where you must do certain things. You must go through a specific pattern to get to the assignments. And the reason for this is because too many people have spent time circumventing things and not getting things right, and then wondering why they're late, why they're behind, why they can't get to assignments. So we're going to go through that really quickly. So first, the very first thing that you have to do once you have viewed this video and you've read through the getting started info, it'll be down here, is you'll have to go to the syllabus. There's a link here for it. You can also get to it in the important class links hub, which we'll go through in just a second. You're going to read through the official syllabus, and then you're going to send me an email from your official Sanjak College email letting me know that you have read and understood and accept the syllabus. And that will be your very first Easy 100. My email is catherine.smith@sjcd.edu. Again, those instructions are actually out in the Start Here module where it shows you where the email assignment is. So you're going to read the syllabus, send the email, then the next assignment is the AI usage quiz. And this is to ensure that you completely understand acceptable uses of AI in this course. You must score 100 to proceed with the rest of the course. You may take the quiz as many times as it takes for you to get 100, but you must do that in order to keep going. So this way, no one can say that they didn't know what the AI policy was. Third, the next thing you'll be expected to do is the introduce yourself discussion board assignment, since the discussion boards are the only way that we have with communicating with each other than email. And you will be expected to participate in that. You really should go and introduce yourself there in that discussion board. You're not expected to respond to anybody. However, it would be nice if you did. It's nice to know people don't like to write a whole bunch about themselves and then know that nobody read it. So I encourage you to go respond to classmates' posts there. Finally, once you're gone through these three things, once you've done the introduce yourself assignment, you will be allowed to go to module 1, where you'll be required to listen to the first lecture there that will actually have anything to do with what we'll be doing in that module. So make sure that you listen to that, and then you will be allowed to do the assignments. So let me just show you that. So this is what you'll see, and you'll probably see these things as you unlock them. And I believe most of these have a due date of Wednesday, so midweek, so really pretty quickly. Again, this is a very fast-paced course. All right, so let's take a real quick look around the course, well, you can see that. So there's the important class links hub where the syllabus lives. If you click on it, here's our syllabus, and you should also be able to get to it from the link from the getting started info. But this will tell you all about it. Then there's the how to contact me here, which we already took a look at. And if I have any other important information come up that for the course, I will put it in here. The writing resources is right here. This is literally all the different things that are here to help you be a better writer. We have the link to the library, which will be very important when it comes time to actually start doing research, which will probably be next week, maybe earlier. Um, the link to the Student Success Center, where they can help you with any topic or subject that you're working on at Sanjak. It's free tutoring, but also they can peer review your papers. They can help you if you get stuck. You can chat with them. You can do this all over the internet online. You don't have to actually go in to the Success Center. You can set up tutoring times and appointments with them there, or you can go to the campus and make appointments as well. That's Central Campus. Here's a flyer that talks all about that. Here is my magic thesis formula, which you'll hear more about in when we talk about the paper, which will probably be the second week lecture. There's general writing help, which gives you basically reviews information that you should have had about writing theses, introductions. The word graveyard lives here, which is important. These are things that you should take into consideration when writing your paper, things that I don't want to see. Again, I'll probably go over this when we write our first paper, and just other information. Then there's also the MLA folder, which talks all about MLA formatting and gives you a template and how to do citations and points you to all kinds of great information about how to use MLA properly. Same thing for APA, all through right here. There's a template in here as well that you can use, and style guidelines, videos, other information. And then finally, the direct link to the online writing lab at Purdue University, which we call the OWL. And then finally, some research help. In other words, some things to take a look at for writing research papers. But all of this is in writing resources, and I'll be pointing to that throughout the course. This is one of the most important things that you need to know about here, the essential reference materials. So what this is we do not have a textbook for this class. However, these are the materials which will help you guide you like a textbook. So as it says here, these are recommended reference readings that support the skills and concepts you're developing in this course. You are responsible for understanding the information contained in these readings and revisiting them as needed. And I recommend that you take the time to read through these different articles as if they were chapter work. I did not make these assignments. Normally I have chapter assignments, but in this shortened class, I decided that we already had enough to focus working on. But these articles are on different topics that, again, we would normally be covering in chapters, assigned chapters, but a lot of this should be reviews. Some of this may not be, particularly about research writing and evaluating sources and that sort of thing. So I highly recommend that you take the time to take a look at these articles. It shouldn't take you that long to read through them. They're fairly short. But for example, the very first one, what is research, uh, is only a couple scrolls long, as I like to say. But it talks about what research is. Then there is also what is research writing, strategies, and formulating theses, understanding bias, evaluating your sources is actually a video. That's a really good video. But you are responsible for this knowledge, this information. It's here for you to take a look at and reuse as you need to. But we will not be taking a grade on this. That doesn't mean it's not important. And then finally, once you have completed everything in the Start Here, you'll be allowed to see our first module, which is module 1 for the research report. And then you'll be allowed to come here. You'll need to watch the first lecture, and then you'll be allowed to go into the assignments. So our course is set up with these different modules. We have 3 different modules, and you'll be able to see them as the course progresses. Each module will have the lectures on top, followed by the assignments and the readings for that module. And there are a lot of assignments on the very first module because we're front loading the course there, but it will calm down on the second and third one a little bit. So there's your assignments, and then you will have some videos that may be related to the readings that we are doing. Basically, we're taking a look at 3 different authors, and we're looking at short stories, 2 short stories each for each author, and then we'll be writing 2 research reports, one on Shirley Jackson, and then the other second one will be a synthesis essay between the other 2 authors. There's also some response essays in there, some shorter essays, and daily assignments. So again, each module has, like I said, the lectures, the assignments, any videos. Then there is the module information. For this first one, we're talking about how to write research reports. So there's a lot of information here about that, developing theses, and some of this is some of the things that are in the writing resources. I've put them in both places so that you can go to either one, but some of it is also somewhat different. So that's, again, things we'll be going over when we do our first module. There is a teamwork assignment. It will be introduced, I believe, in the third week. It will be due the 4th week at the end of that, and then we'll have the final paper due in the 5th week. So we have quite a bit going on. That's the content. I would suggest taking a look at the calendar, and you can use this for due dates. It will tell you what all the due dates are. Now, I can see all these due dates, of course, because I've made the course, but it will show you what your due dates are, and you can also take a look at it by the month, where it will put everything up as it goes in. This is a dynamic calendar, so if the due date changes on the assignment, it will change in the calendar to keep up with that. So again, an easy place to look at that. I believe you can also look at your gradebook or to do. The announcements will be here. These are not all the announcements we have for this class, so don't worry about that. But they will be here. Discussion boards are here, but they are also in the content under the assignments. They're in both places, so that you should be able to get to them. There are discussion board instructions here. You are usually expected to make an initial post and then respond to 2 classmates' posts to receive full credit for the assignment. So keep that in mind. The only time that is different is on the introduce yourself, which you are not expected to respond to 2 classmates' posts. It just would be nice if you did. There's the grade book here, which it's going to look different for you. Obviously, it's telling me gradable items, and then I think that's about it for you guys. So most important will be content and calendar, announcements, the discussion board, and the grade book for you. Maybe all you can see, actually. In any case, that's our course in a nutshell. There will be another lecture that will help guide you through what's going on the first week and module 1. But for now, you need to focus on the Start Here, the getting started information, then the email, then the AI usage quiz, and then the introduce yourself. If you have any questions, please email me at catherine.smith@sjc.edu. And you can email me at any time, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I'm looking forward to the next 5 weeks. It's going to go quick, so try to keep up.